say your name? What is your name?
Robert Goforth.
Robert Goforth?
G-O-F-O-R-T-H. It's a FINNEY farm. Yeah, this is our experiment in applied anarchy. We're trying to work with the community in the area where we live. Trying to work with the other intentional communities in the area where we live. I find that primarily networking, creates I hate to use an overused word, but synergy.
Yeah.
A community of people can do more than the same amount of people on the same land doing the same things individually, because we all don't have to take every effort to maintain everything. Like I participate somewhat in the garden, but I don't have to participate in the garden as much as I would if I were doing my own garden. Instead, I can focus on maybe building projects, and then someone else doesn't have to focus on building projects, they can focus on the garden. So sharing the resources is more than just sharing the actual end product, but sharing the responsibilities of creating the infrastructure and maintaining the infrastructure.
You grow your own food. It seems like you know what work puts in there, what where it came from, and what people are going to get out of it. And like the more you use it, the more like you want it, and it seems to come back to you.
Yeah, you create a loop instead of. I mean, when you're making a product, the product goes out and money might come back, but money, the exchange rate with money, the cost of operating in the money system has to factor in. But if you're just growing food for yourself, right, you get a direct return. There's no government skimming off of it. There's no transportation costs. There's no, all that stuff. And so that the embodied cost of what you need to sustain yourself goes way down. A good example of that, you were talking about quantities. When people used to cut firewood, before firewood was a commodity, a saleable commodity, people just gathered firewood for themselves. There was no measurement of an amount of firewood. Now that firewood is sold in cords, and it's a cubic measurement of firewood for a certain amount of money. But before cubic measurements and selling it, people just had enough or not enough. And you knew how much you needed for the year. You knew how much was going to be enough. You didn't have to measure it. You could look at it and see if that was going to be enough for you for the year. But only, when we start commodifying so that we can sell and make a profit, then it becomes important to have a quantitative, value to something. So this is one cord of wood. It's not enough or not enough. It actually has a marketable value. If I were to, you wanted to buy groceries from me, and you would want to know a quantity. You're going to give me X amount of dollars for Y amount of food. You probably, in our current economy, wouldn't make an agreement for enough food. I'll give you enough food, and you give me enough money. That's too vague for a really specific system. The margins are too close.
All right. What's your intentions of people seeing this kind of activities going on?
Well, I guess the intention, it gets back to the applied anarchy thing. When we came to the fair last year, there were a lot of people here putting ideas out there. But it seems like very few people following through with the ideas. And so I guess we're just trying to bring some feedback, about what happens when you actually go out and try to have a consensus government, when you actually try to live in an intentional community, when you actually try to live rurally. There are conflicts that come up. Part of the reason that the original group broke up was because some people lived on the land and some people didn't live on the land. And the people that didn't live on the land weren't able to participate in the decision-making process about the land. Because, for example, the people that were living on the land realized that they needed to cut down some trees so that they could have firewood. They needed to process some firewood. They needed to create heat in some way. The people that weren't living on the land couldn't justify it. Meanwhile, they were living in places where they could still adjust their climate control and not have to worry about it. And so one of our main goals is to have people living on the farm that are participating in the decisions that are being made about their day-to-day life.
Okay, and is there a way that people could reach you? A website or other cards or anything?
Yeah.
FINNEYfarm.org. Okay.